My name is Erin Carter. I'm a wife, a mother, and I've had thyroid cancer for 8 years. I was first diagnosed with cancer when I was a senior in college. I went home for Christmas vacation and had a routine gynecology appointment. She found a lump in my neck. I had given my parents permission to speak with my physician on my behalf because I was in school, and so they were actually the ones that called me and told me that I had cancer. So 2 weeks later, I had surgery, a complete thyroidectomy to remove my thyroid and 2 lymph nodes that also had cancer. Then after that, they had recommended that I receive radioactive iodine treatment. Once I received the treatment, they performed a scan and that came back negative. And so at the time, I felt cancer-free. Fast forward 8 years later, and I was pregnant with my son. I was being monitored a little bit more closely due to not having a thyroid, and was going to a routine follow-up appointment to level out my hormones. She identified 3 questionable lymph nodes and suggested that I have another fine needle biopsy. The endocrinologist performed the biopsy, and then 2 pathologists were in the room evaluating the cells. I actually knew the 2 pathologists because they were colleagues of my husband, Cody. They looked at it under the microscope in the room and made some notations as to what they saw. They told me at the time that they would get back to me with the results. I had given them permission to talk to Cody about it, and I had texted him and said, hey, they just did the biopsy, let me know if they talked to you about it. And so he was the one that called, and he just said, hey, hon, and I knew. And I said, it's cancer, isn't it? And he said, yeah. I had surgery to remove 2 cancerous lymph nodes that they found. Unlike the first time I had cancer, I had more than myself to take care of. So post-surgery, I couldn't lift anything more than 10 pounds, which was my child. So I needed a lot of extra help. They recommended that I wait for a period of time after I had discontinued breastfeeding to have the radioactive iodine because they found that sometimes breastfeeding while doing the radioactive iodine can cause a false positive when they do the scans. It can also increase your risk of breast cancer. So I waited until Luke was about 9 months old. At that point, they had done some further testing, and it was revealed that I had a genetic mutation called a BRAF mutation. That does not make me a good candidate to receive the radioactive iodine because those patients aren't responsive. So now the protocol is every 6 months I receive some sort of scan or ultrasound. Cancer is a part of my story, but it's not my story. Being a mother really changes your perception of having cancer. I have a child that I take care of, that I want to be there for, and what if something happens? Like, what if I can't care for my child? Without my family going through this process, it would have been 1,000 times harder. I guess if I was giving anyone advice for someone that was going through cancer as a mother, I would suggest asking for help and really focusing on taking care of yourself, because without the help of family and friends, I couldn't have gotten through the process the way that I did. My life would be a lot different without pathologists or laboratory professionals. The whole course of my cancer treatment was dictated by all of my test results. It was revealed that I had antibodies against the tumor marker test, which meant that the results were skewed. They revealed information that really tailored the way that my treatment program has been conducted and the way that I'll be moving in the future. Without that team of people, I wouldn't be where I am today.